All right. Yeah. All right. I think we are live. Hello, Internet friends. Welcome back once again. This is a squat stream. Never something I want to stream. But we got to stay on track and stay on schedule. So we're just going to get into it. And Bible Thump fam, we got to get through this. Got to get through this together. Hello, Thomas. Welcome back. Oh, man. So, for anybody who is watching this in post or is seeing it now and wondering why I'm squatting and not doing spodo pressing and conventional deads like normally on Tuesdays, I was completely bedridden yesterday. I got some sort of 24-hour bug or food poisoning or something that completely just wrecked my entire life. So I wasn't able to train yesterday at all. First training session I think that I've been too sick to do or unable to perform in years. So that was not fun. But I promised you guys that I would stream on Tuesday, and so I guess you guys are going to get the squat session, and if this doesn't go horribly, maybe we'll still be able to stream the deadlifts tomorrow. We'll see. Rob, I do not know. I guess I kind of normally train at this time, but it's not intentional. I have quite a few sessions that end up being late at night, but it's usually because a whole bunch of other stuff comes up and I have to deal with it. And training is the one thing that I pretty much make sure that I always get done, with the exception of yesterday, where it would have been just physically impossible for me to get through a training session without like severely damaging myself. I could barely even walk yesterday, but I feel much better today, and we'll see how much the weight loss from like fluid loss and everything affects me. Hopefully not too much, but yeah, normally I would like to train, ideally I'd like to train in early or late afternoon. Thomas, you started Izzy's novice program. Awesome. I just had a conversation with Izzy last Thursday. We talked back and forth while I was doing my pause squats. So, I'm trying to get myself mentally ready for everything that's about to happen. This is workout tonight is 485 for 5 sets of 7. That's a rep less per set than we have been doing, but that's still 35 lifts. I'm a little nervous. So, but we're making it happen. John P. Smith, what is your main goal in life? Do you want to pursue lifting more? Towards a career? At the moment, I've kind of made lifting my career. Rob, I don't tend to, at least when I'm streaming, I don't tend to time my warm-up sets. They just kind of go how they go. I'm getting ready to go do another one right now. If I wasn't streaming, I could probably go from empty bar to 495 for my squats in about 11 minutes. for my deadlifts, empty bar to 675 in about 13 or 14 minutes. But it's much longer when I'm streaming. And yeah, I don't, as long as I get the work in, that's really what matters to me more so than the time. It's nice to like keep yourself on pace so you're not over relaxing, but with how these work sets tend to feel, it's not really a matter of, oh, am I really just taking it too easy and not pushing myself enough? The work, just getting the work done at any capacity is going to be plenty for me. But yeah, John, I've kind of made lifting and coaching into my career. I also enjoy music, so I guess my main goal in life is to try to work towards improving myself as a person in every aspect, find the things that I'm passionate about, share it with other people, and try to help them along the way. So I really enjoy helping people. I really enjoy working on myself. And if the two can coincide and I can continue to make that a feasible career, then that's something I'll probably stick with. So I hope that answers your question. 315. Slow deletes first. That's a workout live streaming tip right there. If you're ever streaming a workout, load your weights right after the set so you have time to catch your breath before you come back over to chat. Roshan, Bennett really looks like a closer squat stance. Could help you better than a wide stance if you considered switching or experimenting with this. Huge fan, by the way. Greetings from India. Well, greetings. Thank you for stopping in. I've played a lot with different squat stances currently. Leading into the Arnold Classic at the beginning of March, and then afterwards, I've been having some issues with, what is it called? Terminal extension in my knee, and having a little bit of an issue with my popliteus on the back of my leg. And so a closer stance puts more pressure on my knee because it doesn't allow me to track my knees out quite as much. And I'm not able to get into my glutes quite as much with a closer stance, and so that's actually a change that I've been making a little bit more recently. So I've played around a lot with different stances. I think more of a moderate stance is ideal for me, but just currently I'm kind of working with what tends to bug my knee the least, and I traditionally have had a wider stance in general. So J Cream, what's up? Hello, sir. Tips for first meet when not cutting weight. In general, anytime you're doing a first meet, my advice is to not worry about your numbers, worry about the performance, worry about having a good time, trying to get as many lifts as possible, talk to people, make friends, find out if you love it. If you go in and are super stressed about your numbers or putting on some crazy performance, you're not going to enjoy the experience as much, and you need to find out in your first couple of meets if it's something that's worth it to you to keep coming back and doing, because this is kind of an all-encompassing sort of sport or a hobby, and it's really important to find out kind of your level of enjoyment that you're getting for it, because if competing isn't something you enjoy doing, I think it's just important to find that out right away. So try to have fun and see what happens. Don't worry so much about the numbers. Just go in, see what you can do, and it's a good way to kind of assess your level from an objective standpoint. Try your best to not be shooting for the stars too much with your numbers. Be conservative enough that you can get a lot of lifts in and have fun and really enjoy the experience. It's always better to walk away from a meet feeling like you had a little bit more left in the tank than it is to miss lifts and feel regretful that you made decisions that maybe weren't in line with your capabilities. Fred, hey Ben, what are reasonable rest times for strength training and accessories? Depends on the modality that you're trying to train. For powerlifting, rest periods are more a matter of how long does it take you to be able to recover so that you can perform the next set without having form breakdown that's left over from fatigue from the previous set. If you start getting anywhere longer than like 10 or 12 minutes per rest period, then you may need to really address that. But in a powerlifting meet, you have about 10 to 15 minutes in between attempts because that's how long the cycling goes. Now, honestly, that's longer than you should take. I have no idea what's going to happen here tonight because like I said, and if you're just joining and don't know this, the reason we're squatting tonight and not doing my Spoto press and conventional deads like I normally do on Tuesdays is I couldn't lift yesterday because I had some sort of illness that prevented me from even being able to walk. So I don't know what my cardiovascular condition is going to be with how I'm recovering in between sets. So these might end up being some longer rest periods. But normally, you should wait until you're able to do the next set. It's not a matter of like timing your rest periods unless you are really lacking in your cardiovascular abilities, or if you're trying to do something like general physical preparedness, the rest periods can be used as a tool to try to improve your conditioning. But for strength training specifically, they shouldn't be the end-all be-all. It just comes down to like the time it takes you to get through a session. If you can go faster and finish with the same quality of work in a shorter time frame, then it leaves you more time to recover and more time to do other things. So that's better in the long run. But if you're rushing yourself through your recovery to where your rep quality is breaking down in between, or as a result of you not taking enough time or adequate rest, then you're training bad habits. You're ingraining bad movement patterns because you're either practicing it right or you're practicing it wrong. You're always practicing something. You're always ingraining a movement. And if you're not giving yourself adequate time in between sets, then you're practicing the wrong thing, in my opinion. Thomas, hey Ben, I'm thinking of hiring a coach. Which people do you recommend? Oh boy, it depends, man. There's so many things. Price range is huge. You said you're working with Izzy's program. Izzy is a great coach. I would recommend him. TSA, my coaches, the strength athlete, Eric, Hanny, Bryce, Chris, and Joe are incredible coaches. People I know personally, Garrett Blevins. Garrett, myself, and Brandon Campbell run the BCR guided programming series, which is Garrett writes the programs and we all kind of co-coach, but it's more of a communal thing. So those are things that you guys can look into those are my initial suggestions. And then otherwise it's so saturated. Shoot me an email though if you're looking for more details on that, because I don't know everyone's rates right off the top of my head. But my email address is in the description box if you're interested in that. J Cream, okay, thanks. Just going to compete for the experience. That's awesome, J Cream. That's what you want to do. Experience it and try to get the most out of it and learn as much as you can and have fun. Brendan, watching UFC 211 this weekend. I probably won't be. I tend to watch highlights after the UFC events, but I'm assuming it's a pay-per-view event, and I don't usually do that. Ever experimented with tempo squats? Yes, I use them for my lifters. I do a lot of pause squatting. My coaches haven't given me a whole lot of specific squats, but I tend to have a pretty controlled tempo with most of my lifts anyway. So, Thomas, yeah, you're talking to Izzy about coaching right now. Yep, I think that he'd be a good person. All right, 405 on the bar. This should be a pretty good gauge to see how the rest of this is going to go. Who knows? It's probably going to feel the way it feels. Doesn't matter. We got to get through it anyway. All right. Well, that didn't feel nearly as bad as I expected to be honest. Hey, Big Lenny Jr., back at it. Hello, sir. And William Rodriguez, hey, welcome. Do I like firearms? I don't own any. I don't think I could shoot. I have a bow. I have a compound bow, but I don't think I could use it to shoot an animal. Sorry, Timothy. It's okay. Lenny, you're about to go to sleep. If you need to go to sleep, man, you should do that. Brendan, how much is it for the TSA programs? Eric and Hanny and I have kind of an interesting situation since I'm technically a sponsored athlete through the Strength Athlete. I believe that their normal rate is I think it's $55 a week, and then they have student discounts. That's my understanding. Lenny, just my own gun show. Yeah, man, packing these water pistols, baby. Silent watcher. I thought you looked sexy during that lift. PJ from Canada. PJ, Mr. Badminton himself over here. What's up, man? Brendan asks, what kind of bow do I have? It's a Hoyt X-Tech. Do I have it in here? I might have it in here somewhere. It's probably buried somewhere. Yeah, I did archery golf for some time, but I don't think I could shoot anything with a pulse. I'm too much of a softie. Lenny's done with school for this semester. Well, don't let it affect your training tomorrow, man. It's my fault for not getting the session started sooner. That's what I get for being sick. Stupid immune system. PJ's doing well. Awesome, man. Good to hear from you, brother. Hope things are going super good up there. Canada. PJ and I went to university together. One of the first friends I made at Central Washington University. Guy was a swole bodybuilder and a nice fella. J. Cream, if you're looking for a good podcast episode to listen to, the new Joe Rogan episode with Jordan Peterson is one of the best ones you've heard. I will keep that in mind. I like Joe's stuff, but I have had zero time to listen to anything lately. I've been so up against it, man. Iskander says, missed the whole warm-up set with how do you properly increment your warm-up weights. I'm terrible to ask about that because I just go plate jumps on everything. Even on bench, and I'm terrible at bench. I usually go 1 plate, 2 plate, and then working sets for my bench. Squats, I go 1 plate, 2 plate, 3 plate, 405. And then if the working weights are below 450, I'll usually jump up and take a warm-up set with 495 and then back down to my normal weights. But I've got 5 sets of 7 with 485 tonight, so I'm not going to take 495. Lenny's going to train after work, back on that Smolov Jr. again. Man, just be careful. Take care of yourself. I do not want to be the reason you get hurt because you didn't get enough sleep. Listen to the Interstellar podcast. I still haven't gotten a chance to watch that movie, you silly boy. Yeah, I got home. I went up to visit Jess on Sunday before I finished my programming for my clients, and then I came home and must have eaten something bad, either right before I went to bed or something, because all day Monday was, I woke up in the middle of the night, stomach was just completely gutted, couldn't keep anything in my gut through the day. I think I had probably a total of I don't know how many calories were in saltines. I had 15 saltine crackers yesterday, and that's about my entire caloric intake for all day yesterday. So I'm actually a little bit surprised I feel as good today as I do. There is no Interstellar podcast. I was wondering if you were talking about an episode of a podcast where I bet you, Lenny, that there is somewhere in the interwebs a podcast that is dedicated to Interstellar. I would bet money on that. There's podcasts on everything. There's a podcast on Saved by the Bell, man. That's the whole point of the podcast. I used to listen to a podcast with Steve Zaragoza and Mike Falzone where they just talked about Cloverfield for 16 episodes, and it was amazing. I enjoyed that. William Rodriguez, pulled sumo 405 times 6, it's 130. You're eating ice cream now. We're freaks. We don't need sleep. We could use some sleep, though. It'd be nice. All those carbs, you won't get toned like that, Timothy. I know. I lost like 6 or 7 pounds last night. Not fun. Jimmy asks, hey Ben, how do you feel about non-competitors with good numbers and never plan on competing since I'm swamped with work and studies, but I have 550 deadlift, 500 squat? Is it a waste of potential? Potential of what? I mean, if you're enjoying the process of lifting and training just to lift and train, that's awesome. Keep doing that. Competing is one expression of this journey. It is not the only way to do it. And it's the least important thing. The competitions are just a chance to show what you've been doing. The rest of it is what matters. The journey of self-improvement and working and setting goals and overcoming obstacles and setbacks. That's where the personal growth comes from. The competitions are just that. They're just competitions. Jordan, recently watched a video about doing heavy isometric singles above 1 rep max on bench press where you lower it halfway and hold a few seconds before assisted on the concentric. Do you think this is beneficial leading up to a max attempt? I could see arguments being made for it. I think personally, I would stick to a more traditional approach unless you were curious and wanted to try it out and find out if it works for you. But I think if it was conclusively proven to be a very effective method, that you'd see more high-level lifters doing it. PJ says, my igloo is very warm. What have you found the best supplements to help protect your joints? Just fish oil, and it's pretty much the only thing I really take. I haven't been doing a whole mobility, keeping up with your stretching and managing your volumes and not listening to your body has been the best thing I've found to manage the connective tissue in the joints. But making sure that you're staying on top and ahead of the curve. Other than that, just staying hydrated, making sure you get adequate rest, avoiding inflammation, and not doing silly things. J. Cream, and how many times have you seen Lord of the Rings? I have seen many. I own the extended editions, and I think at least once or twice a year through my university career, which was quite a long one, we went through the entire extended trilogy a few times. All right, first set, we're going to try this. If I die, you guys call the ambulance to save my poor cardiovascularless corpse. Good. Oh, goodness. Well, gonna be an interesting night, boys. Definitely feeling those 6 pounds of body weight. Oh. Oh, good morning, guys. Junior, which one to dislike to do more? Squats or bench? Deadlift is the only fun lift. Bench doesn't hurt as much as squats do. The idea of just being squished, like willingly, is just so uncomfortable for me. Alright, we'll start that. Little stopwatch, because I will take 20-minute rests if you guys allow me to. Whew. Hey, oh, Buck? I don't know how to say your name, my friend. Bryce Elliott here. Hello, sir. Whew. Man, since I went vegan, I haven't been sick for 2 years. What did you do? I don't know what I did. I think I just ate something bad. Didn't have a whole lot of things that would be classified as non-vegan yesterday, except for maybe some fish in Seattle, or Sunday. Whew. Goodness gracious. I don't know, being sick is very rare for me. I think the biggest thing that happened, honestly, was I just haven't been getting enough sleep. Even on nights when I'm not training, I've been getting like 3 or 4 hours of sleep because I've been so busy and trying to just stay on top of everything. Come on, mate, don't die. I'm trying not to die. Jimmy, thanks for all the content, man. Been a subscriber for years. Well, thank you very much. Almost every heavy session I've had begin with watching a video of you doing that lift. Inspired to focus more so than your strength. Well, thank you. Focus is definitely something I work a lot on trying to maintain. Damn heavy. Couldn't lift without bacon. I love meat. Focused on my bike in the past days. Got to see what's happening in the gym. Stem says, good morning. Brendan, how did I get started with my bow? Picking one, measurement, practicing, etc. I got I think my uncle had one, and I really liked it. And shot his for a bit. Eventually looked into getting a starter bow. I didn't start out with the X-Tech. We ended up starting with something else. And did some archery golfing, really enjoyed it, and was just looking for something a little bit more powerful. Ended up going, and I was in Indiana at the time. Went to an archery, like a shop, and ended up going through the whole process of kind of picking everything out and figuring out what I liked there. Found our draw, got it measured and set to me and everything, and that's pretty much it. For a time I was shooting pretty frequently, but I haven't shot in years now. Sean Mapley, this is an Enzer 13mm forever lever. Purchased this belt in early 2009, I want to say. The only thing that's changed on it is this lever is just a chromed out version that my roommate Will gave me, I want to say last year, because my other one is, let me grab it. This one, this mechanism, this bolt that holds this mechanism right here just was off center enough and made this little chip so it doesn't close all the way anymore. You can see that kind of prevents it from closing all the way. So it worked. When I would flick, it would just be a little too eager to come undone when I would flick it off. So that's the only thing I've had to change. I've heard people talk about exploding the levers before because their inter-abdominal bracing is so hard, and I don't believe that's necessarily the case. Where are we at? Matthew, morning from the UK. Hello. Good morning. Welcome back. Lenny, I haven't had work or school the past 2 days, so I've slept like 12 hours a day. Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah, sleep is essential, definitely. But I bet you feel really well since you make progress with this stuff going on. I'm trying to make progress. It feels more like I have these things that should be manageable, and then I dig myself into the hole of justifying other things that maybe aren't quite as important, but I make them that important in my mind, and that's why things like the workouts get pushed back. That's why things like editing videos get pushed back. Then I end up playing catch up, where it would probably be better for me to rest instead. But what are you going to do? I'm actually proud of myself for not training yesterday, or not attempting it, because it would have gone really poorly. I think keeps the engine going well. Lenny used to use a metal medieval bow that Mom got rid of. Unfortunate. Williams lever is dull looking. Yeah, I like the chromed out one. J Cream, how much protein do I think someone really needs to make good strength gains? You feel the amount people usually say is over exaggerated. I think 0.75 grams per pound of body weight works really fine, but you don't know. My stance on protein is I would rather have more than I need than not have enough. What's the old saying? I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. But I agree. I think most of us over prioritize it in our diets. Ends up just, you can only absorb so much of it at a time anyway. Like the absorption rate of protein is really pretty set. But again, I don't claim to be an expert enough where I feel confident in saying this is all you need, because I would really hate to undershoot what you need and not end up giving yourself enough support to continue growing. So I think that percentage sounds fine. The pound per body weight of lean body mass sounds fine. But there are lots of places where you can look and find some more informed sources who study that a little bit more in their expertise. I have a general sense of nutrition. I think that I have more than a normal person, and I'm pretty well informed in terms of what I do for me. But there's a lot of information out there that you can get really nitty gritty on. So, Barman, hey Ben, I was watching some of your OG meat videos. Can you explain your piece of the sky deadlift ritual? I think that came from pulling in a suit. I would go like this and try to keep the suit as high on my trap as possible, then coming down and not losing it. And I think I just carried it over longer than I needed to. So I'm pretty sure that's why I did what I did. I probably thought it looked cool too, which it didn't. But what are you gonna do? I was young. Thought that the things you did around the lift were the important cool parts, right? You get older, you realize that no one cares. 75 grams per pound. Yeah, that's not happening, bro. 75 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Go for it. That's going to get pretty big pretty fast. Jimmy, home power rack and bars for squats and deadlifts. Budget isn't an issue. Any recommendations? Been not familiar with deadlift bars, though I've never used a deadlift bar and can pull 550 on a regular. Depends on your federation ideals, Jimmy. If you're doing a oh, time is up. Okay, that means I need to get ready for my next set. I would say any of the Rogue racks are pretty good. Elite FTS or Texas Strength Systems are really good resources for getting a good bar or a good rack situation. For an all-around general bar, I would say the Ohio Power Bar is probably the best bang for your buck if you want something that's competition standards for like an IPF affiliate. And if not, maybe a Texas Power Bar is a pretty good resource. If you're looking for a deadlift bar, I don't think you need to train on one, honestly. I have one. I have a Texas deadlift bar. It works great if you're competing on a Texas deadlift bar, but if that's not the bar you're pulling on, then it doesn't do you a whole lot of good to train on it, in my opinion. So that's my guess. Hey CB, workout session is going. It's going. We're about to start the second set out of 5, so we'll see. Already have a lover. I want to know his opinion. All right. Where are we at, guys? Looking leaner, bro? 405 Alley thinks I look leaner? Well, that's probably because I lost 6 or 7 pounds yesterday. Because I couldn't eat anything or drink anything. I was literally laying down for 90% of the day. I could not walk around. I felt achy and shaky the whole time. It was awful. So that's probably it. I'm probably still fat. It's just not as expressed well because of how sick I was yesterday. So thank you though for the kind words and the compliment. Goodness gracious. Whew. Word of advice, never get sick. It makes everything harder. Goodness. Oh, he's moving to Cyprus tomorrow. Well, good luck in your move. What'd I skip, Lenny? What'd I skip? Oh, I highlighted it. There's a Pete Rubish interview where he said he tracked it once for a while. Said he was getting like 100 grams of protein a day. Well, yeah. I would say that's probably on the low end. Goodness gracious. This is why I don't stream squat workouts. Because I'm so hard to catch my breath with how much I have to brace those things. Gregory. I'm going to just call you Gregory if you don't mind. Hi, Ben. I really enjoy your videos. Keep it up. Thank you. Can't squat at the moment. MCL sprain, injuries suck. Well, I wish you a speedy recovery. I hope you're doing everything you can to get back on it. But I appreciate you hanging out here. 405, stop messing around, slap on another 2 plates. This is my light day. 5 sets of 7. That's cardio. This is a rep less than we've been doing too. I've been doing 5 sets of 8. And last week I would never have streamed this workout. Even 1 less rep per set makes it infinitely less horrible. Except now I'm coming off of being sick, so it's probably still pretty comparably horrible, but form is not impeccable. J Cream, I appreciate that, but I think I have a lot of work that could be done right now. I'm just having such a hard time keeping everything. It just feels like my leverages are super off right now. Literally from losing some of my water belt, probably. Squats are the poor man's deadlift, Lenny. Will. Those who can't squat, deadlift. Yep. And those who are smart squat their deadlifts. What? True. Oh, boy. I don't know how much the mic is picking up my... I don't even have a good excuse. I'm not even asthmatic, although you'd think so. Brennan, this is the... it's the Rogue, I think, West Side rack. R3. Yeah, it's the Rogue R3 West Side rack. Just weakness trying to leave the body. Getting stuck. Goodness gracious. Nice squats, but how much can you overhead deadlift? Not nearly enough, man. Never enough. Never enough. Allie, I can't even squat my bench. I tell myself I wasn't made to squat. For a second, I thought you were saying you couldn't bench your squat, and I was like, well, so you're like a normal person. Hey, sometimes it just takes a lot more work. I have to work 10 times harder on my bench press, and it's still not very good. So, although this feels pretty dang like I'm working every time. Oh, Gregory, thanks, Ben. Currently benching 5 times a week and deadlifting twice a week. Hey, man, you got to work around your situation, right? Stay on it. Good job. J Cream, what are your thoughts on cutting out caffeine 2-3 weeks before a meet? Downing a bunch of caffeine and an extra strength boost. For an extra strength boost, I read Guard Knuckles' article where he said it can give a great strength boost. I think it depends on your reaction to caffeine. You don't want to be jittery. I think that it's good to lower your intake, but you don't want to lose the positive effect and have it go overboard. So maybe cut it out so that you're more sensitive to it, then introduce a little bit back in, and then you'll see a benefit. Instead of burning yourself off so where you can't tell when you're taking it, that's how I would approach it instead. Because you don't want to be completely cold turkey on it, take a whole bunch, and not be able to bring yourself into the focus you need to do the lift. Ao, can you explain why your hand unfolds when you squat? Lack of shoulder mobility. It's not what I want to happen. Usually when that's happening, it's because I don't have my glute mobility's off a little bit, my shoulder mobility's off, and so I'm leaning a little bit too far forward, and my hand opens up slightly to allow the bar to stay centered over my foot. That shouldn't be happening. So it's an error on my part from a lack of preparation. It's a correction I'm making in the lift to make up for my lack of preparation with my glutes and my shoulders not being mobile enough to squat the way I should be during the lift. Lenny, I could not squat or deadlift for months and probably still squat and deadlift much more than I can bench. Yeah, that's probably the case. Brendan, what did I think of the Dakota Access Pipeline? I don't know enough about it to have a really super informed opinion, but I feel like New Energy, if we're talking about oil, the oil industry in terms of, I think that New Energy creates more jobs for the most part in our country, right? So I think we should be investing as much as possible in that. But yeah, maybe I'm just a snowflake, who knows? J Cream, yeah, you see what I mean? 405 Alley, dropped 80 pounds. My numbers aren't close to the same, a bit demotivating. Any advice? You dropped 80 pounds. Find excitement and motivation in that. I'm assuming you dropped that weight intentionally to make a as a healthier lifestyle decision. And so focus on the positives, recognize that there are parts of it that are going to come with that, but it gives you a better starting point to work back up from, right? So that should be your takeaway. And then I would say focus on the journey, not on the numbers. Are you making progress from the point that you're resetting at when you drop all that weight? Looking at trying to improve from there, because it's all about perspective. I mean, if you just came out of an extreme injury or something, and you start working back, your expectations need to match what your reality is. It needs to match the situation you're coming from. So if you just dropped 80 pounds, it makes sense that your numbers would go down, right? And so what you do is you just take that, recognize the truth of the matter, and then work as much as you can to move forward. Well, that's my advice. Focus on the journey, focus on the process, recognizing it's not always a straight line forward, and you don't need to be motivated to make progress. You need to be committed to making choices that are going to push you towards your goal. Motivation is fleeting, and it's something that you get really easily, and it can go away just as easily. You cannot make you can't have your entire journey be based on motivation, because no one is 100% always motivated. At a certain point, that runs down, and it comes back to making conscious choices about the person you want to be and the direction you want to head every time. So, hope that helps. Lenny, glutes for the sloots. Many do you wipe standing or sitting? Probably a 3/4 lean forward. I've got enough room to maneuver. So, come on. All right, there's the timer again. It's running a little faster than I feel like it should. Whatever. Our general doesn't poop. We all do, especially yesterday. Do not get food poisoning, boys and girls. Not a fun experience at all. J-Cream, checkmate. Libtard snowflake. That we need is to destroy the environment as much as possible. America. Allie, great advice, thanks. I kind of just forget about old numbers and look to each PR at its new weight as an actual PR. There you go. That's the way to go about it, man. It's like once you're coming off of an injury, because this is the way I would relate to that. Once you're coming off of an injury, every single PR you have is going to be way more meaningful and fulfilling after you've had to overcome something to get there. It's a reset. And if you're coming down to like a new weight class, or you're doing something where it's going to be a better choice for your long-term health, remember that the progress you make is almost always going to be the best over a long period of sustained consistency. Short-term intensity will never match long-term consistency. So that's when guys go super hard and gain a whole bunch of weight and it's on sloppily, and you're getting a whole bunch of kind of that easy to get progress that's coming just from slapping weight on your frame, but there's no quality, there's no substance to it. You're going to run out of room to just gain weight and see that happen. But coming down to something that's a little bit maybe more healthful, and factoring your wellness in to give you more longevity in the process, you will probably find yourself moving a little bit more effectively towards your goals. So, Greg, hashtag poop story. No, I'm not gonna give you guys the gory details of my illness, but definitely was not a fun thing. I don't wish that on anybody. I was a big baby yesterday, for sure. Chester was taking care of me the whole time. Anytime you're sick, you need a big fluffy cat to come and sit with you and remind you that his needs are way more important even when you're sick. I get it, human. You're ill and you can't move, but you still need to give me pets. All right, Chester. Favorite breakfast cereal, and why is it Captain Crunch? It's definitely not Captain Crunch, because I don't hate the roof of my mouth and want to see it die every day. Favorite breakfast cereal. I think I always default to Honey Bunches of Oats with almonds, but I don't know if that's my favorite. I think that's just what I've had the most since my childhood. When I was a kid, it was probably always like Reese's Puffs or something. It's like candy for breakfast. What? Because we couldn't just do that, right? Couldn't just have candy for breakfast. Then you get to like your early teens and you have like a donut for breakfast, and you're like, oh, I can just do this. I can make this choice. You just have to get used to it. Progressive overload. Are you talking about... Oh, you're talking about Captain Crunch. Goodness gracious. Silly boy. Man. All right, back to it. Losing that tension. Core tightness, man. Having a hard time keeping it braced. Now you want a donut, Greg? Sorry. Not fun. Not fun. William, your question's next. I'm just trying to catch my breath a little bit. Your opinion on strength training benefits or drawbacks for something like MMA or boxing? Well, I think that being stronger is never a bad thing, but the most important thing in whatever your sport is, whatever your athletic pursuit is the demands of that particular sport. So, strength training is a great tool to improve your effectiveness in those other pursuits, in those other disciplines. But if your strength training is allowed to take too much of the focus away, then it ends up being Not that the strength training is hindering your ability to perform those things, but we only have a finite amount of focus we can give any one thing. And so, everything that is not that one thing that you're giving your attention, your focus to, is drawing energy and focus from that. So you have to make sure that your big primary objective is getting enough focus, and then whatever's left is what you give to the other aspects. And so that's what I would say. Strength training can be very beneficial, but it cannot overwhelm the amount of focus needed to continue working with that main pursuit. So that's my opinion on that. I hope that I'm not as coherent right now with my lack of oxygen in my brain as I would like to be answering a question like that, but I hope that makes some sense. Brendan, you want a new squat rack? Yours sucks. It grinds my Rogue Westside barbell knurling down and cuts it up. I don't know if that's so much the rack or if that's your if that's the safeties you have, or the J hooks. If you want some safeties that won't do that, look into getting some Sorinex, some of those strap safeties, or get some plastic inserts on your J hooks to keep it safe. Lenny, you should invest in a home gym. Just don't feel like spending a bunch of money. I think it's worth it if you intend to use it. I use this as much as I would a commercial gym, so I just figure it's instead of paying for that. Allie, how long are your rest times if using? I normally on this workout, I would just go when I'm ready to go. However, I'm learning more about myself. And as much as I enjoy hanging out with you guys, I have a tendency to justify taking longer rest periods when I'm live streaming. So I have, I think, a 7 or 8 minute timer that just lets me, because I time my workouts in general. Let me see if you guys can see that. So it's a running timer from when I started like doing my general warm-up and everything. But I have a timer in the background with like 7 or 8 minutes on it that just will let me know if I'm like not paying attention to, oh, it's been 7 or 8 minutes. I need to start getting ready for my set. So as long as I'm under 15 minutes, that's my rule. If I'm taking longer than 15 minutes for the workout, I'm either having a really bad day or I'm just being lazy. So, whew. Lord, Lord, Lord. Lenny, I was very lucky with the Craigslist. When I was looking for my stuff, I think I probably spent 2 or 3 weeks really looking in depth, and I had a completely different plan for what I was going to do for my home gym. I was going to go through Texas Strength Systems, and I was going to have them custom build a bunch of stuff, and I was looking at all these other things. But then I found an ad on Craigslist of a guy who was the strength and conditioning coach for a university down in Oregon, and he was getting rid of his whole home gym so he could move, and he didn't want to move everything. So he had probably about $4,000 of equipment that he was looking to just get rid of. So that's where I got my rack, some of the horse stall mats, all of the weights, the weight trees, one of the bars that I don't use anymore because I bent it within like 3 weeks of having it. The football bar that I have back there, a curl bar, a few bands. I just had a lot of stuff. A tire that I eventually had to get rid of. Like last week, I finally got rid of that 700 plus pound tire that was just disgusting. Lenny, you've seen Walmart actually has pretty cheap plates. Are they the 2-inch diameter hole? What is it? The bearing sleeve size. A lot of those are the 1-inch. The 1-inch circumference, and so they won't fit on an Olympic barbell. They'd only fit on one of those small ones. At least that was my experience. Lol, yeah, well, I know, haha. Ben made a funny hand gesture. Allie, I have used the football bar, but not for much. If I didn't have it, I wouldn't like seek it out personally. I've done rows with it. I've done overhead work with it. It's a log trainer is what it is. Lenny, you'll have to look out for that. Yeah, just always make sure you know what you're buying, man. Make sure that it'll fit the bar you have, or the bar you're looking to get. Because if you get those 1-inch diameter inserts, then they'll never fit on a regular bar. Not laughing at typo? Okay. Foot bar ball. Oh, I get it. Okay. How often do I row per week? 3 times. 3 times when I do chins the 4th day. So I do upper back work every single workout pretty much. Canto rival. Hey Ben, is it common to have knee problems from one side of the leg and not the other? I've always had my knee hurting usually when I start hitting heavier weight with squatting. As in one knee and not the other knee? Because I'd say you can have unilateral knee pain. My right knee is the one that always acts up when I'm having issues. Or are you talking about like the back of your knee instead of the front of your knee? That could be your popliteus, or there's a whole bunch of other muscles that are around and having influence on all the tendons and ligaments in there. So you can definitely pain is not picky on how it shows up when it comes to lifting. It can surprise you in very unique and specific ways. Allie, any direct tricep bicep work, extensions, curls? Yes. Currently, Eric and Henny have me doing overhead dumbbell tricep extensions. I've done a whole bunch of dips in the past. We've done close grip bench press work. I add in hammer curls as a way to manage my elbow tendonitis before it becomes an issue. Goodness gracious. Okay. Time really flies when you're not wanting to squat. Nell Cern, why do I lift? Because it challenges me to constantly work on improving myself. It's a way to center my life around specific obstacles that I can work to overcome, and it helps me feel like I'm able to make better decisions and be less scared of other challenges in the rest of my life. It helps me focus and center my mind and build to constantly improve the person that I am. So that's why I lift. Canto, the front of your left knee. That sounds very possible. Check your knee pathing when you're squatting. Maybe if your knee is protruding further over that toe, if you have a lack of mobility in one side versus the other side where you're compensating in different ways, is your knee collapsing in when you're lifting? Could be a lack of tension through the hip. Self-created tension, not tension as in you have too much that's inhibiting your mobility. But there's a lot of different things that could factor into that, man. Ben does exclusively curls. For these squats, he's using foam plates. Lenny's got it figured out. You're all on to me. Foam plate squats. All this breathing, it's all a show. I'm actually in really super good shape. And I don't know. I don't know what else I was going to follow it up with. It was going to be very witty, though. Just know that. It was going to be very witty and charming. You'd all be very impressed. Cancel, you tend to squat very narrow. You're more comfortable squatting that way. Well, if that's what you're doing to prevent the knee pain, then good on you. If that's what's causing the knee pain, then maybe you're not as comfortable squatting as you think. Something to consider. Lenny, have ever thought of getting some sort of a cable system? I had one for a time, like one of those old, it was just a 2-pulley cable system. I didn't find a whole lot of use out of it personally. I can do pretty much anything cable-esque that I would really want to do or seek to do with setting up bands, and I have lots of bands. So currently, if I was doing something that was more like bodybuilding focused, where I needed more targeted isolation type stuff, maybe I would look into something like that. But for what I'm doing, the squat, bench, and deadlift are not cable exercises, so I don't really find a whole lot of use for, that'd be on the list of things. It's like if I had the disposable income to make the justification for it, but it's not, that's like way down on the list. I have a whole bunch of other things I'd check off first. So, you think I run 1/8 marathons on the weekends? I walk marathons. For Pokemon Go, gotta hatch those 10-kilometer eggs, fam. Those Snorlaxes are not going to hatch themselves. Sif Maestro, hey Ben, switched from squatting outside a rack with a mirror to inside a rack with safety pins without mirror a couple days ago, but my technique seems out of coordination. Yep. You're used to cueing visually now, and now you have to cue by just feel alone. That's a totally different feeling. What do 10th week of Smolov? Oh, goodness. Well, first of all, really consider whether or not when you do something like that, it's going to totally change the feel of a lift in the middle of a high-intensity kind of semi-crazy program, which I've done before. It's definitely crazy. You have to assess your order of importance for what means the most to you. The thing about Smolov is you're trying to refine your technique over a lot of very intensive focused work on the squat specifically. You need to learn to cue intrinsically and not have it linked to a visual cue of where you're looking. And that might take a little bit more time than 1 week when you're in the middle of that kind of a program. So maybe switch back to the mirror until you finish out, and then try to switch away from it. I personally, ever since I was in high school, I avoided looking to the mirror, because anytime you're squatting in a meet, you're not looking at a mirror, you're looking at a room filled with people potentially. So something to consider. Allie, question about your one-on-one training. Do you have clients send in lifting footage? Yes. Or is it strictly programming? If it was just programming, I would call it programming. Coaching to me is the act of coaching a lifter. Programming is the easiest, simplest, and least important part, in my opinion. The coaching is the part where someone really learns. It's through leading them through why you're doing what you're doing, how you're setting up the stuff, making adjustments to that programming. Because if you just gave someone 12 weeks of programming, they go 2 weeks in and something is off, or the adaptation rate or their response to it is not the way it was intended to be, and that program ends up being worthless for them. I think it's more important to have someone who is coaching you, giving you feedback, giving you critique. And if you're working with someone and all they're giving you is programming, that's totally fine. But they're just programming for you. That's not coaching, in my opinion. Lenny, you squat in front of a mirror but never even look at it. You tend to look down, sort of. Well, find out what happened. Turn away from the mirror next time. See if you have a difference. That'll tell you if you're looking without even meaning to. I always thought that when I was looking at the mirror, I always thought I wasn't, until I looked away and I'm like, oh snap, I keep looking down, like at my hips to see where depth is. And it was happening without me meaning for it too. Deadlift in front of the mirror. I wonder if my technique would suffer without it. Take it away. Film yourself. That's the best way to go about it, Lenny. Sebastian, do you not wrap your wrists hard? Because I see you using them now. I pre-wrap my wrists. I pre-wrap them because if I was just to... So right now, they're on loose. I will go around this other hand and build it up and then wrap them tight and wrench down on them before I get ready for the set. Oh, man. I'm definitely stalling right now because I don't want to do this set. So I'm gonna stop reading the questions just for now, while I get myself ready to do this penultimate? We're on the penultimate set now? Goodness gracious. Oh, man. Goodness gracious. Fun, 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 fun. Good night, AO. Thanks for stopping by. William, when you squat, you have the big chest tube from Bloodsport, throw a crushed pill in your eye? That's why it works. The whole time. Sif Maestro, doesn't seem like the mirror is the problem. The rack's too wide. You hit the rack every time you walk out. Kind of gets you unbalanced for the lift. That's tough. I know what you mean, though. I've done that. I tend to run into the right side of the rack if I haven't practiced walkouts with heavy weight right before we shift into some heavier weight. Man, I wish that squats didn't feel like they feel. Why can't they be happy feelings? Lenny, you might switch to hook grip. You did 4 or 5 pretty easy and it didn't hurt at all. Definitely feels more balanced than mix. Exactly. It's more balanced. And even if it does hurt, it may be worth it in general. You're leveraging the idea of a potentially better position versus some potential extra discomfort. Robert knows. Squats are definitely killing me. Ooh, I wish I could kill them back. And I wish I could just say that they only feel like this because I was so sick yesterday. But I have a feeling I'd probably have a pretty similar response either way. They're just rough, man. Squats are just tough, especially anything over, like, for me, 4 reps is like the range where I tend to be okay. Anything past that, I get some mental games going on. You start counting halfway through the set of, like, where am I? No fun. Sven, you're trying to hook grip now. The left thumb hurt, but not the right. I used to take it doesn't hurt, but I have a problem with tape falling off. Have you watched the videos I made about how to tape your thumb for the hook grip specifically for training and for meets? If you're having a problem with the tape falling off, check that video out. It might help. Brendan, I do not think so much about arching my feet. I think of 3 points of contact: heel, big toe, pinky toe. And that helps me to keep my knee tracking solid. And then I also try not to necessarily push my knees out, but to, like, actually engage my adductors as well, so that I'm not, because what a lot of people tend to do when they get to the bottom of a squat is they're forcing so hard to have their knees pushed out, their adductors are actually relaxed, and you have all that slack. So when you hit the bottom of the squat, you default to where that muscle wasn't engaged, and you see people's knees kind of floop in like that. But if you keep those engaged and you kind of keep tension all around through that entire hip socket, your knees tend to track better the way that you want them, instead of getting to the bottom and having them kind of cave. Sven, you watched it but haven't tried it out yet? Yeah, I highly suggest it, because for the way that I do it for competitions, where you just tape the part of your thumb where the hook is going to go, it's great for a couple of lifts, but it does start to pull away and fall off. And so, like, I'll normally warm up with that competition hook tape setup, and then I'll have to take it off before I go into my actual attempts, because it'll to get fresh tape on there so it's not getting pulled off my thumb. Otherwise, you tape around the thumb and then lock it on the wrist. That keeps it from falling off. Canto? I don't think it sounds strange. Do I tend to have better workouts at night than day? Not really. I just tend to get stuck working out at night more often than I would like because of the other things I'm having to do for like to hold up and stay on top of my responsibilities. And working out is the one thing I'm never really afraid to push back, because it's the one thing I know that I'll never get to the end of the day and say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, then never get to it. I'll always get to my workout. It's the one thing that I always seem to come through and make sure I get almost 100% of the time. Yesterday, when I was so sick that I couldn't walk, was the first day in literally years where I think that I skipped a session without like planning ahead of time to like reschedule it. I just can't work out today, which sucked, but we're doing it today instead. And the way I figure I'll make it work is normally I'd go Monday and Tuesday, have Wednesdays off, then go Thursday, have Friday off, then go Saturday. But I can push those last two workouts together, so I think this week, assuming nothing else crazy happens, we'll go Tuesday, Wednesday, take Thursday off, and then Friday, Saturday. So the Saturday stream should still happen on time, or on Saturday at least. We'll see. Yeah, Lenny, you need to go to bed, man. You were going to bed when I started this. You definitely need some rest, big guy. Thank you. Good luck for the rest of my workout. Well, good luck for your naps, man. William, Greg Knuckles said a good squatter should be able to do the splits. Can you? I cannot do the splits. I got really close at one point, but I have not gotten to that point. Squat me. Ben, did you graduate college? I have finished all my major collegiate classes. I have to finish one thing, which is my piano proficiency test. I just have to play and pass a piano test that I just haven't had a chance to schedule and do yet. It'll take 15 minutes when I do it. I majored in vocal performance and in music in general. I had a minor in American Sign Language. I was in college taking classes for 6 years, took 2 years off, took one class at the end that I was waiting. When I applied for graduation the first time, I was told that there was a class that I was missing, and I waited for a 2-year rotation for that class to come back so I could take it. But for as long as I was in class, you'd think that I would have gotten stuck somewhere. I never failed a class. I got credit for every class I took. I just took a whole bunch of extra classes that I didn't need to take, but I feel like I learned a lot. Would I do it again the same way? I probably would have made some decisions that would have expedited the process a little bit earlier, but I'm very grateful for the college experience I had. I feel like it was pretty unique, and I was very lucky. Lenny, you don't take naps? Me and the money are way too attached to do that. I really don't take naps, though. I hate them. It just makes me more tired. No, you're taking a nighttime nap, like a 7 to 8 hour nap. That's what I call when someone goes to bed. I'm like, okay, have good naps. That's always what it is. It's just an extended nap period. Oh, you were in a coma? That's like a 2-month nap right there. Good job. Super nap. We're on the last one, guys. We're on the last one of these sad feeling squats. I'm actually surprised a little bit, because if we finish in the next 15-20 minutes, we'll actually still be on pace for where I was last week with my 5 sets of 8, even though I expect them to be longer with the stream. Yep. As soon as I start pulling the sleeves up, it tells me, yep, you're slow. Double cheeseburger, yeah. Just a quick little 8-hour nap. A little baby nap. Man. Yep, my mind's telling me no, but my body is also telling me no. Do not want to do this last set. However, we are going to do it, because then it'll be done, and I won't have to squat again until Friday. And boy, howdy, will that be a good feeling. Because it's not that I don't hate squats. Squats just have some issue with me that is unresolved, and quite frankly, a little bit petty. Robert, that angelic voice. Yeah. If you guys haven't checked out the album yet, please check the description. So I have a video edited that I was going to post today, but then I decided that I was actually going to end up streaming this video, or streaming this workout, so I decided to push the video to tomorrow. And I'm still trying to figure out what the topic is going to be. But I think I was floating around the idea of kind of just coping with what's happening and not making sure that you're not thinking so much about like any one workout being the make or break session, since I had to skip yesterday's workout because it was this workout. Imagine doing this when I couldn't walk all day, right? So I think that was it. But now it's becoming more like why no one should squat, because they make you sad. And why they just hurt your soul. Canto, you take naps as soon as I get home from work because I'm so tired to work, too tired to work out. So most of my workout it's at night all day from walking. What's your profession, Canto? What's your home from work? Because usually on my off days I tend to go on Pokemon walks. Robert, you did a bunch of abs today. Then your allergies decided to attack. You've been dying on the floor. Man, I couldn't even lay down. I couldn't even lay down yesterday because my stomach was so awful with whatever it was that I was like kind of in a half fetal position, just laying on my side, because every time that I would like extend my legs out and open up my abdomen like this, I just felt like I was going to throw up all over the place. It was horrendous. Horrendous. I was such a big baby about it too, because I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't know how to I just sat there like telling myself like it's got to go away. You felt like this before. It's going to go away. You just have to endure it. It's kind of like a squat workout. I don't know what I'd prefer. This feeling right now, like 5 or 6 reps into a 7 rep squat workout or 7 rep squat set, or being sick all day to the point where you couldn't eat or drink anything. Poor Ben. No, it's not poor. It happens to everybody. It happens. We all get sick. We all go through times that are unfortunate, and it's never planned. You never plan to get sick. You just have to deal with it. I wish I was better at dealing with it, but it happens. I was real pitiful yesterday. I was really feeling sorry for myself yesterday. I don't have any room or time for that today. Can't be feeling sorry for myself now that I'm getting to do this. This is a luxury. Getting to kill yourself intentionally through the workouts is way better than being sick when you didn't plan it, right? Okay, peace out, bye. You going to bed, Will? Good night, sir. Thanks for stopping in. Robert, you going to take squat workout, not all day? Well, I guess I definitely can have a tendency to take this for granted. If it was like a not rep intensive squat workout, if it was like a 3x3 or something, definitely. But this is 35 lifts total. The last few weeks have been 40 lifts total. That's way worse still. Though these aren't feeling amazing. We're getting through. Almost done. Last set. Yeah, and normally I would say that I'm going a little slower because of the live stream. I honestly don't think I'd be going any faster on these squats if it was just me. So if that's an indicator of how much I am excited about doing rep work. Double cheeseburger, take advantage of those legs, brother. Some people are stuck in wheelchairs, homie. Hey man, this is definitely the epitome of first world problems. And so, like I said, it is a privilege to be able to do this, to be able to intentionally put myself in this kind of discomfort. It's absolutely a choice. So, like I said, I was pitiful and feeling sorry for myself yesterday. The feeling sorry for my feelings now are more just because I don't want to do this, but we'll be okay. We'll make it through. Last set hype. Chat, lend me your energy. We got to make it through this together. Teamwork. Easy. That's generous. Had to slow down the last couple because I was getting real sloppy on the first few. No point in doing them if they're not good, right? Commit to improvement every rep. Thanks, guys. Goodness gracious. Lap. Where did I lose you guys? Last set, let go, let's go. Energy, energy. Who has time for taps? Taps, who has time for naps? Gosh, English. Learn it, Ben. Sven, who has time for naps? I'm 52 years old, have 4 children in my house. 8, 6, 3, and 1 month. Oh, goodness. Well, congratulations on having a fruitful life. Oh, not much sleep you can get. Just finish your workout and normally do it at 5 a.m. before work. Good on you, man. There have been seasons in my life where I had to make it work, where I'd get up at like 4 a.m. to lift or something. That's tough. I don't miss those times. But your priorities, man. When you have a family, you have to take care of your kids. That's got to be number one. So good on you. Oh. All right. One Scouser and proud. Ben, do you gel Q? Am I missing the meme, my friend? I don't think I get it. Please explain. Canto, will I work at warehouse just picking orders from different aisles? Go to school on your days off. Oh, gotcha. Whew. Sean, why are you wearing a hat though? My hair's too long and it gets puffy when I exercise. So the hat helps me keep it under control. It's definitely not even for the styles, it's just because my hair gets ridiculous. I just need a haircut, I haven't gotten one recently. It's my PT hat, increases gains by 20%. Sure, we'll go with that. What are my thoughts on high bar versus low bar? In what context? High bar loads the posterior chain a lot more. You tend to be able to use more musculature. The erectors and the quads are not as much of a limiting factor. And it tends to favor lifters who have longer femurs and can't stay as upright. Where a high bar squat's going to be more quad dominant. Erectors become the limiting factor, in that if you get too far pitched forward, you're going to have a much harder time saving the bar. It's easier to hit depth, but for the